Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to PBTV. I'm Stu, and we're live on Facebook and YouTube. So we've seen many 9mm platforms before, so I thought I'd bring a new one out. We've not had this one before. We've had the Nemesis version, so this is the Classic Army PX9. I know ARP9 super popular. The Nemesis was super popular. All the 9mm platforms have been eagerly eaten up all over the sort of Airsoft line, so I thought I'd bring this one out. It has just landed with us. I've got it up and available, so you can grab these if you want. So we will do the normal routine of starting at the front and working our way back. If there's anything you want me to cover, or just ask a question specifically on the PX9, please drop it down below and we'll flash it up on screen and get it out there and answered as quickly as we can. So with the PX9, we do have a 40mm counterclockwise thread on the front of this, so you can fit any of the standard accessories that you want. If you want trace units or anything, they will fit perfectly fine. What I do really like about this is when you do take this sort of custom brake off the front, the end of the thread meshes up and lines up perfectly with the rail that is fitted. So when you do stick your adapter on there or whatever you want to put on there, it is a nice flush finish. There's no sort of gap or anything, and you're not butting up against the rail. Makes it nice, neat and clean, and looks really cool. Just a little extra thing that I thought was a nice touch. There's no grub screw on the muzzle brake, so you can just take it off. There's nothing to undo. You just unscrew it and you're good to go. Coming back, we do have flip-up sights included. There is a button on the side, but to deploy them, you simply grab and lift. To put them away, you press the button and drop them down. So once they're up, they're locked in place, but to put them away, you do need to press the button and do that. So the iron sights themselves are metal, I think mostly steel, with some bits of aluminium. The rest of this platform, apart from some of the bits, are polymer. It is the sort of reinforced fiber polymer, so it is very stiff and strong. There's no creaks, there's no wobble. It is a very solid build. Things like the stock arms and all the pins and controls are metal, as you'd expect, because they're going to get a little bit more use. Coming to the rail, it is a little bit unique. It's a sort of hybrid of many different things. So we've got Riz on the top and the bottom, full length. We have two small bits of Riz on the right and left, just at the front. Quite easily put a torch, like a WML torch or something, pressure activated on there. Very comfy and very conveniently placed. There is then a single slot of M-lock in the center on the right and left. You could either stick an M-lock section in there if you want to put the canter torch mount, so the torch sits in that nice little neat gap there. That's doable, or you could actually fill it with a section of rail and have a full piece. The bits at the back here, those are QD sling points in case you are wanting to drop a sling on this. There's loops at the back on both sides, so you could clip a bit there and then QD at the front, either doing 2-point or 1-point. You've got plenty of options with this. Weight on this thing, it's about 1.7-ish kilos, maybe a little bit more. So again, very light. You're going to be very fast on your feet with this thing. It's not going to hinder you at all, moving it, swinging it around corners, through doorways, all that kind of stuff. This thing is definitely very ergonomic and very maneuverable. Outdoors CQB, it's going to work exactly as you'd expect. A lot of the 9mm are built and primarily for CQB, or the sort of initial thought process of them was for CQB, but these things are going to function perfectly well outdoors. Because you do have a tight bore barrel pre-fitted, so you've got a 6.03. Daniel Cox on YouTube, are the iron sights removable? Yes, absolutely. So there is a flat-headed screw point there and a flat-headed screw point there. So undo them, take them off, and then you can add anything to you want on the top. But yes, internally you have a 6.03 tight bore barrel. It's about 155-ish mil in length, so it's not the longest, but it being tight bore and this spitting out BBs at about 340 FPS out the box, this thing is going to be absolutely savage. So your groupings and your sort of follow-up shots are going to be landing pretty much in the exact same spot, as long as you can keep your aim there. So as we were saying, the removable iron sights on the top, underneath that, we do have a 20mm Riz going all the way across the top. So all your standard optics, so you could fit your PEC box, a red dot, and a magnifier on this. There's plenty of space, so you're not restricted in only being able to fit a few things. I know a lot of people with the 9mm like to fit a pressure activated torch at the front, stick a dot in the center, and you are good to go then. If you want to stick a grip on it, you can do, just to keep it a bit of a tighter feel in there. I know a lot of people as well just haven't put optics on these at all. They just stick a torch on the front, run around as fast as they can, and wherever that torch splash lands, you know that's where your BBs are going to sit. So using a torch as an aiming device is perfectly acceptable. Logan, is this AEG or gas-powered? This is AEG, so this is the Classic Army PX9. So it is AEG. If I pull that back, you will see the rotary hop in there. So you do have a rotary hop, which is incredible. They are one of the better sort of hop systems. The normal gear one can sort of adjust slightly with the shake of a gearbox, etc. Whereas the gear one, because it's rotating laterally towards anything else, it does hold in place a little bit better. So once you've set the hop, it's going to be stuck in place and going to be very, very consistent throughout an entire game day. I'd probably stick to 2.5s, 2.8s on this. If you want to creep higher than that, you might have to just check the mag springs. So it does come with a 120 round mid cap. So that's why we say 2.5s, 2.8s. Some mid caps don't like going over 2.8s. They struggle to feed the BBs fast enough to keep up with the platform itself. Very, very minor flared magwell. It does open up slightly, so getting your mags in is definitely a lot easier than some platforms. We haven't got them, but I do know that drum mags are pre-made for this, so you can get a drum mag. As and when we get them, I do not know, but we will endeavour to do so. Controls, as you can see, it is a long bar style mag release, so pressing on the right hand side drops the mag. It does slightly kick it out a little bit, which I think is really good. It's almost like the either the follower in there or one of the spring systems. As soon as you hit that, it does pop it out, so rather than have to drag a mag out and get rid of it and put another one in, you can just dump this one on the floor just by pressing that button, which I think is probably a byproduct of a feature inside it, but it is always a bonus to be able to get a mag out very, very quickly. ODST on YouTube, what's the largest battery it will accept? Well, coming onto the stock, this thing does have a very, very cool feature. So, as you can see, skeleton stocks usually have limited space and having to take the stock off, unscrew it, either Allen keys or anything like that, jam your battery in there, make sure the wires are all in the correct place, and then try and cram it all back together. There is an Allen key at the back there, an Allen key head, and I thought it was going to be tools to undo it, and it was going to be awkward with the stock and everything, but it's actually not. That is a pull-down switch. So if I pull this down, that whole thing comes off. So this entire stock section here is battery compartment. So you're going to be able to fit a decent sized stick in there. I think if you're quite sort of frugal with the wiring, keeping that down one side, you could quite easily fit a 1450 in here, 1400, 1450 LiPo, definitely. I'd stick to 7.4. It is up at almost that 350 mark, but again, UK power limits, we don't want to risk any pre-engagement. So once you've lined it up, simply push it forward, and it does lock back in place if I do it properly. There we go. So it does just simply click back in place. Very quick, very easy. Definitely doable in-game if you want to keep batteries on you, but as always, if you're going to change your battery, you probably want to go put extra BBs in your mags and sort yourself out, get a drink of water, so probably do it back at the safe zone. But yeah, stick to your 7.4 and you're going to prevent any form of pre-engagement, and you'll be good to go with it. The stock itself, it is only a 2 position, so we have fully closed and fully open, but you do have a lot of sort of surface area. Sometimes with these PDW stocks, the skeleton sort of comes a little bit further out and there's not much to get a decent cheek weld down on. This thing's got a lot of surface area. You can definitely get down on it, keep this solid in your shoulder, and get some rounds down range. The stock itself at the back is metal, so again, the bits that are wear and tear, the arms, the controls, the movable parts of the iron sights are all metal and very, very, very well made. So Classic Army definitely doing a good job. The rail and the receiver are polymer, but as I said earlier, there's not much rattle to this at all. It is extremely well built compared to some other platforms out there. Very, very impressive. It does have a micro trigger again. So coming onto the internals, we have that tight bore barrel, so it's going to be very accurate, very consistent, and then coming onto the electronics inside. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but you can hear a micro switch trigger in there, meaning there's not metal on metal contacts that can possibly burn out after thousands and thousands of rounds down range, but it's going to last longer. It's going to be very, very easy to bounce that semi-auto. Very, very cool. It also has a programmable MOSFET in this. So if you want to just keep everything on safe, you go to CQB and you don't want to risk sort of slipping onto full auto or anything like that, you can set it to semi, all the way around. You can set it to the standard, safe, semi, and full auto, and then it also has 2 burst functions. So there's 3 round and 5 round, and you can put them in whatever position you want. So you could quite easily have safe, 3 round burst, full auto. You could have safe, 3 round burst, 5 round burst. You could have safe, 5 round burst, full auto. There is a full instruction manual on how to do this. It's all done through the trigger, various push pulls, and changing the fire selector. So very, very cool in a platform or in what is essentially a budget range. That is an incredible thing to find on it. And again, a lot of people don't really sort of lean into that burst aspect. 3 round burst is an incredible sort of frugal way to keep your mid caps run longer. A lot of people, they'll pull that full auto, 15 rounds will go down range, and they only needed 3 or 4. So having that 3 round burst, you get a burst out, and you'll get the same amount of rounds consistency or shots on target with a burst system as you would a full auto, but you're not going to burn half your mag trying to do it. You might just get through 9 or 10 rounds. Again, going to keep you in game longer, going to keep that mag in the platform longer, not having to reload, not having to change or anything like that. But I'll quickly cover a few of the features because I can see a few more people joining, so I'll recover a few of the things, but if you do have any questions, please drop them down below and we'll get to them as quick as we can. So as I said earlier, 40mm counterclockwise thread on the front, and when you do take the brake off, the thread finishes flush with the rail. So when you do fit something on the front of here, it's going to look really, really cool, nice, neat, tidy. I think it's going to be an absolutely awesome platform when people start building this up. We do have the flip-up iron sights, so they do deploy just by lifting them, but to put them away, you do have to press the button on the side of it, get them away. They are removable. Remove the screw on the side, and they will come off, giving you plenty of 20mm real estate on the top. You've got more riz on the right and left at the front of the rail, a single piece of M-lock right and left, and full riz on the bottom. Sling point, we have a QD sling point on the rail here, and a matching one on the left-hand side, and then we have a sling point on the right-hand side and the left-hand side of the stock, meaning that you can 2-point, 1-point. Yeah, this thing's going to be very, very ergonomic for pretty much anyone. The only thing that I will say, it is right-hand dominant. There's no fire selector on the right-hand side, so if you are left-handed, you might need to sort of work with that. ODST, is it M-lock? It's a combination of sort of Riz and M-lock. You have a single M-lock slot just there and a matching one on the other side. Apart from that is 20mm Riz on the top. Very small 2-point section at the front here, which is Riz, and then you've got Riz all across the bottom. So if you do have M-lock accessories or a cantilever torch mount, you can mount it in there, and it keeps it nice and neat and tidy, deep in sort of a recess there, rather than having it stick further out. Again, most of people with 9mm platforms now are sticking torches right at the front here, on the top where the iron sights are, and using the torch as an aiming device. So wherever that light splashes, you know that's where your BB is going to land. And with the response from this, with it having that mag switch trigger, it's gonna get rounds down range at a rapid rate of knots, and you're gonna have a ton of fun with it. 9mm platforms are just, over the last couple of years, when we've been allowed to play, over the last few years, have become exceptionally popular. And looking at this one, I do very much like it. It's a little bit longer than other ones, so we've got a little bit more in a barrel than, say, the ARP. I think the inner barrel's probably about the same length. It's 155 in this. It's probably about the same as the ARP, but I think this might just pip it with it being a little bit lighter. I think the stock on this is a little bit more sturdy as well. It's got that metal back end and a much thicker, better put together arms, so it's going to sit in the shoulder more comfortable. I also prefer the way that it kicks the mag out slightly. So when you do release this, it's spring-loaded, kicks the mag out, so meaning them reloads are going to be extremely fast. Rotary hop, as becoming pretty much standard now on most platforms. It is a much more preferred system than the gear one. ODST again, what is it made of externally and how much does it weigh? So all the important bits are metal, so the stock at the back, the arms, the controls, the iron sights, and all the bits that are going to move and take the brunt of your force, like the body pins, the shell door and everything like that, are metal. Whether or not it's aluminium, steel or anything like that, they are metal. Everything else, so the rail, the brake, the mag, the pistol grip, the main part of the stock back here is the fibre reinforced polymer, meaning this is exceptionally light for a CQB platform. It's a smidge over 1.4 kilos, so once this thing's in your your arms and rushing around, you're definitely not really going to feel it. And it's very, very, very impressive. Really, really like it. It's got, I think, byproduct of being not late to the party, but one of the later 9mm platforms. They've seen what other people have done and seen what works and what doesn't, and they've sort of hit the nail on the head. I do like the rail system. The brake that comes with it's fine. I'd probably stick a Spitfire on this, but a lot of people are going to have a ton of fun with it. But this has been the Classic Army PX9. Yeah, I know a lot of people have been asking about this. The Nemesis was exceptionally popular, but some people weren't interested in the bright red or bright blue platforms, and they want something in that sort of sleek black look. So we will be back next week with some very, very special live streams. There will not be a live stream on Monday, but we'll be back Tuesday with our brand new range. So Bolster Armories, if you've seen all the trailers coming out, if you've seen all the information sitting on our social media, keep an eye on that all weekend. There will be a few more teasers and bits going out. But if you want to know the full story, join us on Tuesday. And we will reveal all our secrets. But if that's everything for today, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you next week. Bye.